before going for diffusion or ion implantation to a selected region of substrate, we go with the process called lithography. Okay, so in lithography, we will be creating a space for diffusion or ion implantation. So basically, whatever processings need to be done after oxidation. Okay, so after oxidation, oxide layer is grown on the substrate. So to further process the substrate, we have to remove the selected portion of the substrate. Okay, so the selected portion of substrate will be removed for further processing like diffusion and ion implantation. For this type of uh, selected processing, the lithography is used to expose the semiconductor surface or the substrate so that further processing can be done. So by using lithography, we will be doing the selected removal of oxide so that the semiconductor surface is exposed for further processing. Okay, so in case of photolithography, we will be basically using ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light we will be using in case of photolithography to do the lithography. Okay, so basically to selectively remove or selectively expose the semiconductor surface, we will be using ultraviolet light for the lithography. Okay, that will be photolithography. So in this, we have gone through different steps. So the first step was resist coating. So in the previous class, we have seen. So first of all, there is a semiconductor surface, and there will be an oxide. So first step will be we will be coating with the resist. This will be a resist. It is this resist is a polymer. Okay. So this resist we will be exposing. We will be creating a layer of resist on the semiconductor surface. So semiconductor surface. This is SiO2. This is your substrate. Okay. So resist coating is the first step. The next one is exposure. So based on the mask, if mask is open or closed, if this is open, mask will be used and UV light will be exposed through it, and light will only be passing where it is open area. Okay, on to this resist. So based on the resist type, either it is positive resist or negative resist, it will be reacting. So in positive resist, where the sunlight or this ultraviolet light is going through, this part will be this part will become soluble if positive resist is there. If negative resist is there, whenever the light is passing on the resist, that part will be hardened and the remaining part will be like soluble that can be removed by the etching process or removed by some developing process. Okay, so next step that we go with is development, and the next step is pattern transfer. Okay, so in the development part, we will be exposing the light. The this resist part will become soluble or hardened. That will be done uh, by the UV light, and then after that, this will be dissolved in a development solution. A development solution is used, that is a chemical. In that, we will be dissolving this, and in that, whatever soluble resist will be there, that will be dissolved in the this chemical or development solution, and after that, we will be doing the pattern transfer. So in pattern transfer, basically it is done like etching. We will be doing etching by etching the waste material of this resist is removed, and after that we will be removing along with the resist, and also yes, the also this uh, SiO2 layer is also removed. So after etching, the semiconductor substrate that we will be obtaining is this will be a substrate, and along with that this is unexposed part, so it will be hardened, so it will be hardened, so there will be an oxide, and this is the exposed portion, so exposed portion will be removed, and again this. So after etching, this is the semiconductor surface that we will be obtaining, and here we can see like these areas are directly, these are areas of the semiconductor surface is directly exposed to the outside. That means whenever we need a further processing, we can directly process some steps to these areas, okay, of the semiconductor surface. So here in these selected areas only the diffusion or ion implantation will be taking place. Okay. So up to this, from this surface, from here to here, whatever steps is required is considered to be a lithography step. Okay. So these steps we have seen in the previous class. Okay. So the next we will see is the figure of merit of this uh, lithography. So here figure of merit. So what does this figure of merit indicate? So basically figure of merit is certain parameters that will define our lithography step. Whatever lithography processing we are doing, either it is good or bad, or on what parameters we will be measuring the quality of this lithography, that is defined by the figure of merit parameters. Okay. So here there are some figure of merit parameters. So we will see one by one. So the first one is resolution. So in this resolution, what does this resolution indicate? So here this resolution indicates the minimum feature size okay. So this resolution will basically indicate the minimum feature size the minimum feature size that can be, you can say, implemented or incorporated on the semiconductor surface, that will be considered as the resolution. So what is the minimum size of the lithography that can be implemented on the semiconductor surface will be given by the resolution. So minimum feature size that can be incorporated on semiconductor surface. Okay, so that is your resolution. The second point that indicates the figure of merit of lithography is throughput. So throughput is like an efficiency or the product or the chips that can be the wafer that can be processed in a fixed given fixed time interval. That will be your throughput. So basically, this throughput indicate like how many wafers can be processed in a given time. So that will be indicating the throughput. So if any lithography step is need to be implemented, throughput should be high. That means more number of wafers should be processed in a fixed interval of time. So that will be having high throughput. That is our required, you can say, a parameter whenever we are performing the lithography step. The third one is depth of focus. So depth of focus is also one of the important parameter. These two parameters are one of the most important, and depth of focus can also be considered. So in depth of focus basically is like whenever we go for a lithography, there are different type of uh, you can say there are different type of masking is required. So whenever we go with lithography, we use a mask. Okay, so in that mask, selected portion is exposed, yeah, transparent, and other portions are opaque, so light cannot pass. Okay, so like light can pass through it, but light cannot pass through it. Okay, so these are opaque area and these are transparent areas. So these are masks, basically masks. So whenever we need to perform different operations, different processes in on a semiconductor surface, we use different type of masks. Okay, so suppose we are going to fabricate a MOSFET. Okay, so in fabricating the MOSFET, whenever we go with source and drain doping, we need a mask. Okay, also whenever we need to have a gate, we need to expose this gate, we have to use a mask. Okay, whenever we need to create extra doping for a substrate, we need a mask. All the portions will be masked, only this portion will be exposed. Okay, so there are different masks required for uh, going with the fabrication steps of a device. Okay, so these masks are like there are all the masks that need to be implemented that should be, you can say, identifiable to the lithography process. That means whenever we go for lithography, all the other masks that have been used or their boundaries, like what is the boundary, that mask boundaries or the shape and size should be visible to the lithography step whenever we are going for lithography. Okay, so that means here we can call it all the masks that are need to be implemented or that is implemented on the semiconductor surface during the fabrication process, all the masks must be in a regular pattern or must be aligned such that each of the mask have their particular orientation. Like suppose a mask is implemented for this. Okay, and other masks should be, one more mask is needed, we have implemented another mask. Okay, so that means this portion should be exposed, in the previous one this was need to be exposed. Okay, so this is how the alignment should be done. If we are doing the is made this, then there will be a wrong fabrication step. Okay, that will not be considered. Okay, so that will basically degrade the quality of our chip or basically remove the functionality. Okay, so we will be having better mask, better device whenever all the masks are aligned with each other. Okay, so here the depth of focus indicates basically like up to how many uh, masks that lithography step is able to focus. Okay, how many masks are clearly visible to this lithography step, that will be defining the depth of focus. Okay, so depth of focus will be indicating like all the masks of different processing steps, fabrication steps of any device, all the masks must be aligned with each other. If all the masks are aligned with each other, then all the masks will be clearly visible while performing this lithography step. So this is one of the parameters need to be focused while performing the lithography step. Okay. So the next topic that we should be going with is the different types of lithography. Okay. So there are different type of lithography. We will move one by one. Okay. So the first one is called optical lithography. So in the previous lecture, we have seen the photolithography. So photolithography is same as the optical lithography. Okay. The next one is e-beam lithography. The third one is X-ray lithography. Okay. So there are three different type of lithography: optical, e-beam, and X-ray lithography. So in optical lithography it is similar to the photolithography. It is same to photolithography. It uses basically the optical resist will be used. Okay. So optical resist will be used, and UV light will be used to remove the selected portion of the resist, because this is optical resist. That means this resist will be working with the help of an light. So here light will be used is UV light is used in case of optical lithography. Okay. In case of e-beam lithography, here uh, we will not be using any masks. So in case of optical lithography, as we have seen, we use mask. Mask is used, and the selected portion of the mask is exposed to light, and other portion is opaque. So here mask will be used. But in case of e-beam lithography, no mask is used. There is no need of mask. Directly, it is called like it is a direct e-beam lithography. It is a direct e-beam lithography. Here, directly electron beam will be exposed to the selected portion of the semiconductor surface. Okay. So direct e-beam will be exposed at the selected area or location. Okay. Uh, in X-ray lithography, here in X-ray lithography, instead of e-beam, we will be using X-rays for direct exposure. Okay. Here no resist is used. There is no resist is required in case of X-ray lithography. Okay. So we will see these lithographies one by one. The steps that we have followed in photolithography is similar to optical uh, lithography. So that similar steps will be there. In case of optical lithography, we will see different types of optical lithography. Okay. So basically, there are three types of optical lithography is there. So the first one is contact printing. The first one is called contact printing. Second one is called proximity printing. Third one is called projection printing. Okay. So as the name suggests, contact printing means a mask is there and a semiconductor surface is there. Okay, or we call it substrate, and this is mask. So in contact printing, the mask and substrate is in contact with each other. There will be no spacing between these two. Okay, in case of contact printing. And in the mask, here the UV light will be exposed. Okay, so the selected portion that is opaque, that will not be passing the light, and that is transparent, it will be passing light. If it is opaque region, no light will be passed. Here the light will be passed. Okay, so this is like there will be no gap between mask and substrate or semiconductor layer. That will be considered as contact printing. So what is the advantage and disadvantage of this contact printing is, like, contact printing is having high resolution. Okay, so why? Because it is close to the surface, it is providing high resolution. That means the minimum feature size that we can implement by using lithography is high. That means we can implement the minimum possible uh, feature size while performing the lithography. Okay, next one is the disadvantage. There are some disadvantages to this. So the disadvantage to this is, like, as there is a direct contact between mask and substrate, there is a chance like there will be a contamination. Okay, so there will be some contamination between the mask and substrate. So substrate can get contaminated because of the dirt or any other impurities available to the mask. If mask is having some dirt, it can directly contaminate the substrate. So there is a chance. So this is the disadvantage. Another disadvantage is, like, here as the mask is going to touch the substrate, there is a chance of wear and tear loss. Okay, so wear and tear loss, or we can call it wear and tear loss means the substrate life is basically going to reduce as the mask is going to touch the substrate. So there is wear and tear loss that indicates the less life of substrate. The substrate life will be less in case of contact type of printing. Okay, so this was contact printing. The next one is proximity printing. So in proximity printing, so as it indicates, proximity means there will be some space, there will be some gap between the substrate and mask. So if this is the substrate, there will be a gap between substrate and mask. Okay, so this gap will be of around 10 to 20 micrometer. Okay, so here 10 to 20 micrometer of gap is given, but in case of here, as there is a gap, the resolution reduces. The resolution will be reducing, but the life of the substrate increases. Okay, so in case of proximity type of printing, the resolution of the uh, lithography will reduce as the mask is going away from the semiconductor surface, but the life will be increasing because there will be no wear and tear loss, because there is a gap between these two. So there will be no wear and tear loss will be there, and also there will be no contamination, or we can call it less chance of contamination. Okay, but it is having low resolution will be less. Okay, so further, as previously in the contact printing we have high resolution, but there is a chance of contamination and life is less. The next one is the resolution is less but life is more. The substrate life is high, okay, and also the contamination is less. So next method is projection priority, projection printing. Basically, in projection printing, it is used to obtain the high resolution, also the high life of the substrate. Okay, so here in case of projection printing, the resolution will be high and life of the substrate will be high, but the disadvantage that we have is cost. So here in case of projection printing, the cost is very high. Okay, so these are the different types of proximity that of optical lithography. One is contact printing, proximity printing, and projection printing. So based on our requirement, based on our application, so if we require high resolution, we will be using contact printing, or if the cost is not a parameter, we have sufficient amount, we can use this projection printing. So based on our requirement, we can use either of the method for lithography. Okay, so this is all about optical lithography. The next we will see is e-beam. So e-beam lithography. So in case of e-beam lithography, there are some advantages of this e-beam lithography, and there are some disadvantages also. So we will see one by one. So in case of advantage, that is e-beam lithography. So here basically direct masking or direct writing is done. So here e-beam is there. That means here direct writing, it is considered as direct writing. That means there is no requirement of mask, no mask needed in case of e-beam type of lithography. In this case of e-beam lithography, the geometries that can be uh, possible is less than 1 micrometer. So here the feature size can have less than 1 micrometer. That means it is having high resolution. Next one is it supports the property of automation. So automation means as there is no mask is required, that means there is no need of alignment of any mask, because in the previous case we have seen there is a need of mask alignment. Okay, but in case of e-beam lithography, as there is no mask is needed, there is no need of alignment. That means this process can be automated. Okay, so this process can be automated as there is no alignment of mask is required. Okay, so that means it can be automated. The next advantage of this e-beam lithography is greater depth of focus. So as there is no mask is required, so we can have a greater depth of focus. We can focus on you can say larger depth of the semiconductor surface, so we can have a better lithography. Okay, so this is your advantage of these are the advantages of e-beam lithography. So here the basic steps that is followed is there is a table on which the semiconductor surface is placed. Okay. Substrate we call it as a wafer semiconductor surface. Okay. So this is placed on a table. This table is a movable table because there is an electron beam that is exposing the electron beam. Okay. So this movable table moves in x and y direction. Okay. So based on our requirement, so either the substrate should be moving x in x direction or y direction, we will be moving that substrate, and this e-beam source is fixed, and based on the requirement we will be turning on or off this e-beam. Okay. So if we need to expose a certain region of the substrate, we will be turning on this e-beam, and if uh, suppose this is the surface and we want to have this portion need to be removed, if this portion need to be removed, we will be moving this table such that this selected region can be exposed with the e-beam. Okay. So that is done with the help of movable table that is moving in x and y direction, and based on the requirement we will be turning on and off this e-beam source. Okay. Also in case of uh, e-beam lithography, there are different resists are used. So resists are basically here also there are two type of resist. One is positive resist, another one is negative resist. Okay. So in case of positive resist, basically here chemical bond breaking takes place. Okay. And this type of resist basically provide poor sensitivity. The sensitivity of this resist is considered to be poor. So basically this resist is providing a medium. It is a medium that will be either exposing a particular selected region of the semiconductor surface, or it will be making hardened to the surface, and that will not be exposed directly, and that will not be uh, you can say directly contact with the uh, outside world. Okay. So here, so resists are the polymers, basically the polymers that is used for exposing the surface, either it is positive or negative resist. So if it is positive, in case of e-beam type of resist, in positive case chemical bond breaking will be taking place into that polymer, and it will be providing this type positive type of resist will be providing poor sensitivity. The next one is a negative type of uh, resist. So basically here, so it is positive type means the similar we have seen the positive and negative type of resist. So in positive case it will become soluble. So if it is chemical bond is breaking means it is weakening the bond. The bonds are weak. That means if bonds are weak, the uh, polymer that we have used, that will become soluble. Okay. In case of negative type of resist, in case of negative type of resist, this here the cross linking will be taking place. So cross linking means two atoms will be linking to each other. So suppose there are different atoms into this polymer. So in case of negative type of photoresist, in case of negative type of e-beam resist, when e-beam is exposed, these atoms will be linked to each other. Okay. So once it is linking to each other, that will become a solid, and instead of becoming soluble, it will become a solid or hardened polymer. Okay, so that will not be soluble to the development solution. Okay, so here that will be hardened. Okay, so that cross linking will be taking place, and that will be making hardened resist. So on that selected portion where E-beam is exposed, that will become hardened. Okay, so if it is hardened, that means it will be unable to you can say dissolve in the development solution. That means it will become insoluble. Okay, so negative type of resist will be insoluble. Okay, and this type of resist basically provide poor resolution. So why did because provide poor resolution is because this negative type of resist, what happens when it exposed to the e-beam, and once it is exposed to the e-beam, it becomes hardened, and once it is hardened, it is put into the development solution. So this development solution, once it is put into the development solution, it will swell. It will basically swell. So swelling takes place to the hardened part of the resist. So that swelling will result in basically this swelling will result in blurring of this lithography. So whatever lithography that should be clean. So when this swelling takes place to the hardened part of this resist, when it is put into the development solution, this will basically swelling will result in blurring of your lithography. Okay, so as it is having a blurring, there will be a poor resolution. Okay, similarly in case of positive type of resist, here poor sensitivity is there. That is because poor sensitivity means sensitivity to the e-beam. Okay, so this positive type of resist, what happens uh, to break this bond, basically it absorbs e-beam. Okay, but this e-beam absorption, that e-beam absorption that need to be done in case of positive type of resist is done for larger time duration. That means absorption of e-beam so needed to be exposed for, you can say, larger duration. So as it is the e-beam need to be exposed for larger duration, the sensitivity to the e-beam is poor. That means it is not like once the e-beam is exposed, it will go on performing the reactions, like it will become soluble and perform, it will clean the or expose the semiconductor surface. It this e-beam exposure need to be done for larger duration of time so that it will become soluble. Okay, so that is because of the uh, that larger time duration, and as this absorbs the e-beam, it will be showing poor sensitivity to the e-beam, and overall the process that we are obtaining, the lithography process, that will be poor with the sensitivity of the e-beam light. So this is two different types of resist that available in case of e-beam type of lithography. So we will see the disadvantage of e-beam type of lithography. So the first disadvantage is that have low throughput. Low throughput means it is a slow process compared to the previous one, optical lithography. It is having low throughput, and as it requires larger time duration for performing this lithography. The next one is it is having proximity effect. So in case of e-beam lithography, a, there is a effect called proximity effect. So in proximity effect, what happens? We will see that. So in proximity effect, if this is the semiconductor surface, so suppose this is the selected region, we need to we can say expose with the e-beam. This is the oxide region. This is the selected region need to be exposed, and another selected region is suppose this one. And we are exposing it with, you can say, e-beam source. So this is your e-beam source is there. Okay. Here what happens, as the e-beam exposed on the selected region, this e-beam get scattered from the selected region. So this is the region, but it can get scattered. So because of scattering, this is the pattern that get selected. Instead of a straight line, this will become similar to this. There will be a curved line. Okay, so this is the pattern that get become soluble or whatever exposed to the e-beam. So this is because of the scattering of e-beam. Okay, so this scattering of e-beam is considered as the proximity effect. So proximity effect is, that was the regular uh, area that we need to expose, but because of scattering of the e-beam, some proximity area of this selected region get exposed to the e-beam. So that is proximity effect in case of electron beam lithography. Okay, that is because this electron beam is basically having high energy beam. These are high energy beam. So whenever it exposed to the surface, it affects the proximity space available for the exposed region. So this is the exposed region. The proximity region of this exposed region get also affected by this e-beam. Okay. One more is like in proximity effect, there are two type of proximity effect. Suppose this is a razor. So if this is the region and this is the region, this is A and this is B and this is C location of the selected region. So while exposing to the E-beam, this C region will be exposed such that it will be okay. So this is how. So here when E-beam is exposed at this region, this C point is, you can say, this e-beam will not be reaching to the C position. So this corner position get remain without exposition. Okay, so there will be no e-beam exposition here. So this type of pattern will become exposed in this selected region. And also, if there are two different regions, that two different type of you can say exposition need to be done at this. Suppose this is a region 1 and this is region 2. So if there is a region 2 and region 1, so when performing the exposition from this region to this region, there is an extra exposure will be taking place. Okay, so this extra exposure is considered as inter proximity. Okay, and this gap in between these two is considered as intra proximity. So this is a type of proximity only. Okay, so you can say the strength or the concentration or the quantity of exposition or exposing the e-beam at these three locations will be different. So that get you can say separated from other one. There is no proper exposition of e-beam at this C position, so there will be some space left at this corner position. So this corner position will be exposed, will be less exposed with the e-beam. Okay, so here two spaces are there, two different you can say locations of the substrate need to be exposed. Then at that point there is an swelling. Okay, so this is basically called uh, indentation. Basically indentation, there is an indentation at these two regions. Okay, so this is inter proximity and this is intra proximity. So this is all about the e-beam lithography.